From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN statewide news this Tuesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, breaking news this noon as state health authorities announce another 80 confirmed COVID-19 cases across Montana. 55 of those in Yellowstone County. The latest cluster, a care facility in Billings where 43 residents and 15 staff members tested positive, sending 2 residents to the hospital and the facility into quarantine. Canyon Creek Memory Care Community at 1785 Majestic Lane announced the results this morning. Test results are pending for another 9 residents and 15 staff members. State and county health officials are actively working to trace the contacts of all 58 individuals. Well, both the state and Yellowstone County smashing records as the total active cases reaches 540. And Yellowstone County surpasses Gallatin County in total cases and in total active cases. Yellowstone County at 199, Missoula County 58, Gallatin County with 54 and 50 active cases in Bighorn County today. Health authorities say the spread and testing has been difficult to manage. Well, the U.S. has recorded more than 300,000 new coronavirus cases so far in July alone. Now, this leads to a large increase in hospitalizations across the nation. Chris Martinez has the latest details.
Almost 8,700 Texans are in the hospital with COVID-19, including single mom Patty Peterson.
It feels like someone's stabbing you in your side.
She's been in a critical care unit since last week.
Everyone thinks it's blown out of proportion until you're the person laying in CCU who has no contact with anybody and you're helpless.
In Texas, hospitalizations have more than doubled in the last 2 weeks. Arizona hospitals are at 89% capacity. And in Florida, in the last 2 weeks, hospitalizations are up 40%.
We are still knee-deep in the first wave of this. We went up, never came down to baseline, and now is surging back up.
In California, hospitalizations are up almost 89% since Memorial Day. About a third of the hospitalizations are here in Los Angeles County, and about 25% of those are among young people, ages 18 to 40. Health officials blame the rise on increased socialization.
We've had a lot of people disregard the very practices that allowed us to slow the spread.
And there is growing concern among leading scientists that the coronavirus may travel farther than previously thought in tiny airborne particles that can linger in the air for hours, especially indoors.
It's clear that one person could infect people over much more than 6 feet.
Researchers emphasize masks help reduce the risk. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
More than 200 scientists around the globe are urging the World Health Organization to reconsider its guidance on how the virus spreads. They say improved ventilation systems may be needed in schools, businesses, and other indoor spaces. Well, it's time now to check in on the weather scene. And Ed, it's really not looking much better on the weather scene.
No, we've got some serious concerns as we get into the afternoon. Take a look at the map. It shows you the instability in the atmosphere, or one of the ingredients we need to get strong to severe storms going. You see it's pretty widespread here as of midday, but by this afternoon, we're really concentrating on eastern Montana, and the Storm Prediction Center of the National Weather Service is reflecting that with an enhanced area of strong to severe possibilities across the eastern plains. That's about as high as we typically see it around here. Temperatures are going to be warming up to the 70s, 80s, even low 90s today with that risk of strong to severe storms through the afternoon. And we'll see a little cooler day tomorrow before a hot weekend. Give you all the details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Now, 21-year-old man involved in an overnight shooting in the Billings Heights died at a hospital. The victim was shot in the chest just after 11:30 last night on the 600 block of Samuel Court. Lieutenant Brandon Woolley with the Billings Police Department says a 52-year-old man described as the shooter was interviewed and released. Detectives are trying to determine if the man who was shot was the same man reported as intoxicated on Main Street a few minutes earlier. Investigators believe the intoxicated male and deceased were the same person. This is currently classified as a homicide as the investigation moves forward. Ravalli County authorities are searching for a suspect they say set a building on fire, killing 3 people. The fire was started around 2 o'clock Monday morning. Along with the 3 deaths, a 4th person suffered severe injuries jumping out of a 2nd-story window to escape. The woman was taken to the hospital and is recovering at this time. No, authorities do not know who set the building on fire. A man accused of lighting his dog on fire in March appeared in Lincoln County District Court on felony charges yesterday. Domingo Palafox pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of tampering with witnesses and to 1 count of aggravated animal cruelty. Percy, a 1-year-old puppy, was able to run off, saving his own life. He was picked up by Pet Connection Rescue and Sanctuary out of Libby, where he underwent rehabilitation for 6 weeks and since then has been adopted. He is now living a happy and healthy life. A jury trial is set for November 17th in Libby. Well, Democrat Senate candidate Steve Bullock just broke a state fundraising record. Montana's governor raised $7.7 million in the past 3 months. Since entering the race on March 9th, Bullock has raised a total of $11 million. He's challenging Republican incumbent Steve Daines. Now, Daines has totaled $9 million overall and still had about $5.8 million left in his campaign account. Daines has not yet released his fundraising totals for that same quarter. Well, the Keystone XL pipeline cannot move forward with construction while its case goes through the appeals process. That ruling came down from the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday afternoon. It's a win for the Billings-based Northern Plains Resource Council, which was a plaintiff in the original lawsuit looking to block the pipeline. Senator Daines expressed his disappointment with the ruling, saying the pipeline would provide jobs and revenue for Montana. And the Keystone ruling wasn't the only major setback for the oil industry. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline must be shut down and emptied of oil by August 5th. The judge says the pipeline cannot be in operation until an environmental impact study is done, which could take more than a year. North Dakota officials estimate shutting down the pipeline will result in the loss of more than $300 million in yearly tax revenue. The project's developer plans to file a motion to stay the decision. Well, this week, Flathead County first responders will train with the Montana National Guard's 83rd Weapons of Mass Destruction Civil Support Team from Helena. The purpose of this training is to prepare local law enforcement for emergency hazardous situations that would normally overwhelm local departments. These exercises will also refine and perfect relationships between different law enforcement agencies and have been prepping for 18 months. Because people are traveling to these training locations, everyone is taking extra safety precautions because of coronavirus. Training will take place around the Flathead Community College, Whitefish, and Creston, away from the general public. Well, we're now learning more about who got money under the Paycheck Protection Program. Around 5 million businesses have been approved for loans so far, totaling about $520 billion. The top industry, healthcare, followed by professional services and then construction. However, several company names on the recipient list weren't expected. A clothing line by Kanye West, political groups, and even high-dollar hedge funds. The new application period for PPP loans started yesterday. It runs until August 8th. Well, thousands of international college students may have to leave the U.S. if their universities go to online classes only. The State Department says it will not issue visas to students enrolled in schools that are fully online for the fall semester. Many colleges have already made that decision in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Foreign students may have trouble returning home because many came from countries prohibiting travel from the states. Still ahead on your noon news, the oldest living veteran in Montana is laid to rest. We'll share his story. The time now is 12:09, but first, meteorologist Ed McIntosh is next with your statewide weather forecast.